Hello my fellow whale watchers, welcome to the second part of my 1000 subscribers special on how to prepare for rebalances. Again, a big thanks to you for having brought me that far. Without you guys, I would not speak here today. In the first part, we talked about what rebalance actually means and how this is connected to what the owner of the game wants. But of course, it also has a big effect on the players. In the end, it's the items that you have in your hangar that get nerfed and buffed. So, what can you do in order to prepare yourself for rebalances? There are some general things that you can do, but of course they will also depend a bit on your situation in the game, where you are, how much money you're willing to spend, and how much you play. So let's talk about the things. As in the first part, you're going to see some domination gameplay running in the background. The first topic to talk about is diversity of gear. Let's take an example. Just because Cramolas, Smoothers and Rastors are meta today, I would not recommend you to put all your resources into them once you get a few of these. Except if you don't care at all about money, believe it or not, I've just seen a guy that got himself 5 maxed Smoother Behemoths. This is good for you. But okay, let's assume that you're not a super whale. I know it's tempting, right? The new weapons are so dominant if you run into them. They shoot around the corner, they have high DPS, reasonable range. But if I was you, I would not max out more than 2 or maximum 3 of these weapons. Why not? Well, it's simple. If they get nerfed, you risk that your whole hangar gets useless at once. Also, they are not as universal as it may seem at first glance. For short range, there is better stuff. For very long range too, so be very careful. It's the same with robots. I assume that you're not a specialist in one single robot and that your only way of having fun in this game is, let's say, to run 5 Ravens or 5 Hellburners. Diversity is key. Run 5 different robots. This will bring you in a much better position for a rebalance. Maybe 1, maybe 2 of your robots or weapon sets get affected, but don't forget, everybody else suffers the same, so in the end you will be better off than most of the other players just by having a diverse hangar. If you want the ultimate proof that this is valid advice, what is probably the only thing that every top player has equipped on each of his robots? Yes, it's the Last Stand module. Honestly, even I could not imagine that this will ever get a nerf, but here we are, waiting for update 7.9, and Last Stand will get nerfed. Great. In the end, it's just in line with what I explained in my last video, just too many players run Last Stands. So let's come to the second thing that you can do for preparing for rebalances, and this is don't sell gear, unless you drown in it. If you have 20 level 1 pulsars in your storage, sure, sell 15 of them, but if you have 3 maxed atomizers and atomizers just got nerfed, don't sell them. Just don't. You'll never know what happens in the future, and guess what? In update 7.9 they will get a rebuff. I even keep my 3 MK212 Organs. They are probably the worst weapon in the game right now. But hey, who knows what will happen in the future of this game, right? So don't take the chance just to get some fast silver. Resist the urge. It's better to plan ahead, to keep a resource stash, and to only upgrade when there are upgrade events going on. And speaking of events, did you sell your Ravana and your Scorpion, maybe because new stuff was available at that point? So good luck with these Yanti event tasks then. So let's speak about the third thing that you can do for preparing for rebalances. This is be rich so that you can spend a lot of money. No, of course, I'm just kidding. The third thing that you can do is try to improve your hangar step by step. What do I mean by this? First of all, you need to resist the urge to use everything that you get. You may have good robots with decent modules and reasonable weapons, and all of a sudden you're lucky in an event and you win, let's say, an Orochi, a Revenant and a Fafnir. Oh my god, how lucky are you? Well, I must have won 5 Fafnirs and 6 Revenants by now and have not upgraded a single one of them. Why not? Because most players overestimate how powerful they actually are if they are not maxed and optimized. And also players tend to underestimate how strong their own builds can be that they already have. If you're toasted by MK3 supercharged Fafnirs and you win a level 1 Fafnir from an event chest, that's not the same. it will take you months to bring your level 1 Fafnir to the same level than the guy that just toasted you, together with all the chips, drones, pilot skills and modules that you will need to optimize it. So you give up your Autun, start developing the Fafnir, and bam, rebalance. It got you nowhere. It would have probably been better, for example, to develop a couple of modules or to finally max out these 2 pulsars on your Typhon, right? So that brings me directly to one of the biggest mistakes that relatively new players make in general. I've seen many examples of players that run a lot of the latest stuff, maybe at MK1 level 6 or 7, and they are stuck somewhere in Expert League. Judging from the number of wins in their stats, they are also not completely new to the game, so for some reason they don't advance. One reason could be that they want to stay there, of course, but I have also been approached by some of them in my forum mentorship function, and often they just have no idea why they are stuck. So why is that? Again, it could work best to use an example for explanation. I have run the Phantom basically since it came out. It's maxed, it has a max pilot. I have invested heavily into these things for many months because I just love it. It has a unique ability and it can do things that no other robot can do. So usually if I run, for example, into an Orochi that is not maxed and optimized, I win and he gets toasted. So this also means I would not benefit from a non-maxed and non-optimized Orochi that takes months to build. And even then, it may only be slightly better than my Phantom if you ran into each other on the battlefield. So, what will happen in the upcoming 7.9 rebalance? The Orochi gets nerfed and the Phantom will get a small buff. I win. So in short, this means build one thing that you love playing, be consistent in leveling it up and make it a part of your hangar. You will become skilled in using it and you will find out its weaknesses and capabilities over time. Once the thing is at a high level, you start concentrating on a second different setup that you love. But don't flip all your stuff every couple of weeks just because you can. It won't necessarily bring you forward, and as a side effect, there is a big chance that you won't be affected so much by a rebalance. The list that you can see here now is a list of robots that in my opinion are something like hidden gems. Not many players run them and they are relatively safe from a nerf, but they're also extremely powerful with the right setup if they're played by a skilled pilot, of course. So, this concludes my coverage on how to prepare for a rebalance. I hope that you found it somehow useful. In the last 3 minutes of this video, I will show you one of my favorite builds that I think is also one of the best counters to the current meta. Most probably it will also stay in that role after the upcoming 7.9 rebalance, because hopefully it will not be affected. So while you're watching this, I have one more additional hint for you how you can prepare for a rebalance. Inform yourself and try to understand how the game works. This may sound trivial, but if you're watching this video right now, you're already on a good way. But be aware, there's a lot of other stuff and content out there that will help you understand things. Just for giving you one example, there are a few YouTubers that compare weapons to each other. Incredibly useful. You just need to search for it. Another big asset is to be part of a strong clan, and that you can exchange with your clanmates and other experienced players. So in short, if you want to know things, just ask and search for information. This will save you from a lot of headache, not only with regard to rebalances, but also in general. With these final notes, once more, thanks for listening in and see you on my channel.